Hello everyone, my name is Martin Nebelong, and today I will be talking a little bit about the potential of Dreams as a professional tool. And while doing so, I'll be playing through my Castle Dreams experience in VR. For those of you who are still new to Dreams, Dreams is a creative tool running on a PlayStation. It's developed for PlayStation 4, but it works on PlayStation 5 as well, which is what I'm using when I'm building elements and experiences. And let me make this totally clear to all of you. I think Dreams is mind-blowingly good. And not only am I a giant fanboy of this tool, I'm saying this with years and years of experience from the creative industry. I've been a professional artist for 17 or 18 years now. I've used all of the tools available to artists. I've used 3D programs, I've been painting in Photoshop, been painting on the iPad, all of that stuff. And Dreams is still in a league of its own, I think. And time for a quick disclaimer. I do work for the developer of Dreams, Media Molecule. I have a month working part-time for them. So feel free to take whatever I'm saying with a grain of salt. Hopefully what you're seeing on screen here speaks for itself about the quality of the tool. So take a minute to let this sink in. Everything you're seeing here, the whole VR experience, all the artwork, all the assets, the sound design, everything was made entirely on a gaming console without using any other tools, without using a mouse or a keyboard, even without using a Wacom tablet. All of this was made entirely using Move controllers or the DualShock or DualSense controller. The implications of what having a tool like this available to all with a PlayStation is pretty mind-staggering, I think. It opens up a totally new world for people who otherwise would never have gone into game development. Even people who, use Dreams for illustration or 3D work. People who are not interested in making games will still get a lot out of having this tool as part of their toolkit. From seeing the very first demos of Dreams before it was made public, I had this idea of using Dreams for movie previz. I wanted to use Dreams for concept art. I wanted to make quick 3D mock-ups in Dreams and paint on them in Photoshop. And that's exactly what I've been doing now for about a year. Dreams has totally replaced all of my other 3D or 2D art tools, and these days I'm doing all of my paid client work directly in Dreams on a gaming console. And it's still quite limited what you can actually get out of Dreams, so there's no 3D export at the moment. Hopefully that will be something we'll have in the future. It's on the official roadmap of Dreams at least, so here's hoping. But I can offer video and images to clients, and for a lot of things that is enough. For instance, for animatics for movies, for storyboarding, for concept art, for illustrations, for books or magazines. All of the places where I would usually, do a Photoshop painting or a quick animation in After Effects. All of that is now being done in Dreams by me, and I'm doing it much faster than I would have been able to in any of the old school art tools. And it has already opened up a lot of doors for me. A lot of my clients are extremely impressed by what is possible in Dreams, and I'm doing all I can to sell the idea of using this tool for not only for games, but all kinds of entertainment. And it's very nice to see that my clients understand the potential of this tool and that they believe in what it can do or what can be done with it. And I think that's very understandable if you know what the 3D world of tools normally looks like. So imagine you're a film instructor, for instance. What you'd normally use is you'd make these boring uninspiring grey box models of a set and previz your movie like that. Whereas in Dreams you get this very painterly look right from the beginning. You have tools that allow you to very easily place lights in real time. You can move a camera around, and a lot of this stuff I'm doing over Teams meetings at the moment, where I share my screen with the client, and I'm then able to move around in the scene while they are watching, and we can take notes. I can even draw directly in my Dreams scene to have their suggestions in there, and that is just incredibly powerful if you see what other tools allow you to do. So let's go back to talking a little bit about this project, Castle Dreams. So it actually started out with me wanting to see how much I could fit into one scene in Dreams. And the reason why I wanted to demonstrate that was that many new Dreams users struggle with the thermo limitations in Dreams. So basically the thermometer in Dreams tells you how much space you have left for graphics, for gameplay, and for music and sound. And you can very easily fill the thermometer up by having just a few very detailed elements in your scene. But if you know what you're doing, you'll be able to fit a lot into a scene. So the whole first part of Castle Dreams, starting out in the library, moving into the big hall, the kitchen, even the dining hall, the ballroom that you'll see in a minute, and the whole part around that area, all of that is one scene in Dreams. So the library is a scene for itself, and the desert scene is another scene. But all of this, the main part of Dreams, is one save file, one scene in Dreams. And there's actually even still some room to spare. I think we're at like 90% graphics thermo and probably 80% gameplay thermo. So there's still room for me to add in a few more gameplay elements and stuff like that. And the whole secret behind being able to have this kind of detail level in a scene is to understand the relationship between flex and surface area. So basically, the more flex it takes to cover a sculpt, the more graphics thermo it's gonna take up. So once you have an object, like a detailed chair for instance, that chair is going to take up a certain amount of graphics memory. I try to aim for only a few percentages of graphics memory for each element. But once you have that element, you're almost free to clone it as many times as you want without it taking up extra graphics thermo. So once you have a chair, for instance, you can copy that chair many times without getting into any kind of trouble. And if you look around in the scene here, you'll see a lot of repeated elements like the wall pieces, the floor pieces, even the detailing on the door here, for instance, consists of a lot of cloning of the same elements. At some point I'll actually sit down and make a proper tutorial about graphics thermo and gameplay thermo in Dreams, because it's such an important topic to understand if you want to make quite big and quite detailed scenes in Dreams. But let me get back to for a minute to talking about Dreams in general and what I think it could do to the gaming industry and for 3D artists and illustrators. Dreams to me stands for a new way of thinking about a creative tool. It's really the first 3D tool that I've used where I feel like I'm using an instrument. I feel like I'm picking up a paintbrush and painting 3D environments. I feel like I'm playing a piece of music. I feel like I'm jamming creatively without any interruptions, really. Most of the tools I used to use, I sometimes got into that zen, that feeling of, unhindered creativity. But most of the time I would be pulled out of that feeling time and time again when I'm waiting for Photoshop to save a file, when I'm waiting for Photoshop to process a complex filter, When I'm waiting for 3D Studio Max to save a 2 GB 3D file, or when I'm waiting to decimate a complex mesh in ZBrush, for instance, all of these little interruptions in the creative flow just kind of takes you out of that mindset that you want to be in, that mindset of being able to create anything, to tell stories, to be inspired by the work while you're making it. You know, that to me is the true groundbreaking thing about dreams. It's the feeling of being in this creative zen once you understand the tools. And that's not to say that the graphics engine behind Dreams, the whole fleck system, the fact that you're not using polygons but you're using signed distant fields to sculpt with, that's not to say that that's not groundbreaking, because I do feel like it is, but I think on a whole other level, the most groundbreaking thing about Dreams is the way it kind of liberates the artist. It liberates me from having to worry about all the things around the most important thing, which is the artwork, the storytelling, designing things, designing experiences, playing with mood and music. That is the most important thing, and that is what Dreams really allows you to do and to focus on once you master the tools. There's so little creative downtime in using Dreams, and I really cannot stress enough how much that means to me on a daily basis when working on projects for clients, for instance. And one of my big hopes for Dreams is that more professional content creators realize the potential of this tool, the potential it has to completely change the way we create content. A way to create content where we are free to play creatively, where we can jam creatively, and where we are not tied down by a very complex and time-consuming process around the creative work. And with that being said, I'm gonna leave you with a compilation of some of my personal Dreams work from the last year or so. And remember, all of what you're seeing here was made in my spare time. So it's an incredibly fast tool and a very empowering tool.
Open your eyes, what can you see around? Wind of the open sky, over the siren sound. This is a dream, getting the royal scar, holding a diamond blade, throwing it far. Holding your breath still, you jump the fire. We'll just sit and wait till you see me fly. You know they'll never catch me for it. See me fly, the way I put my finger on it. See me fly, you got it, then try to tell me you got the wrong guy. See me fly, you know they'll never catch me for it. See me fly, the way I put my finger on it. See me fly, you got it, then try to tell me you got the wrong guy. Look at them now, all of the noise they make, counting the cards to one. Queen of hearts never breaks. Falling asleep here might just take a while, trying not to grind your teeth, dreaming to touch my style. Well, can't say I blame you, trying to come close to, but